and welcome back to Know Your Bible. I am Reverend Birgit Gaudreau, and today we're going to study Genesis chapter 32. So last week we studied the end of chapter 31, and Jacob and Laban made a covenant, and then Laban went home with a good conscience.
So Laban, with a good conscience, got up in the morning and blessed his family, kissed each one goodbye, and then he returned home.
In the beginning of chapter 32, we could read in the first few verses that the angels of God met with Jacob, and he had a vision of these angels, and this was a very special place. And Jacob called this very unique place Melanim.
Verse 3-5. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Speak thus to my lord Esau. Thus your servant Jacob says, I have dwelt with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants. And I have sent to tell my lord, that I may find favor in your sight.
So now the messengers of Jacob returned and said that Esau had 400 men with him. So that gave Jacob a little bit of a scare. So Jacob respected his older brother Esau, and he really wanted reconciliation with him.
Verse 7 and 8. So Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels, into 2 companies. Then he said, If Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the other company which is left will escape.
So Jacob started praying to the Lord and saying, Oh Lord, you wanted me to come back to Canaan, to my father and my brother.
Now Jacob is in great stress and is praying to the Lord. Verse 11 and 12. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and attack me, and the mother with the children. For you said, I will surely treat you well, and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude.
So Jacob was really hoping that this would all go well, the reunion with his brother. And so that night he camped, and whatever came to his hand, he kept as a present for his brother Esau. So Jacob got together goats and cows and camels, and whatever that he could get together as a gift for his brother Esau for reconciliation. So he sent droves, like a bunch at a time, to test to see if Esau would accept his gifts.
Verse 14 to 16. 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 male camels with their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 foals. Then he delivered them to the hand of his servant, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, Pass over before me, and put some distance between successive droves.
So now the messengers of Jacob returned and said that Esau had 400 men with him. So that gave Jacob a little bit of a scare.
Verse 17 to 20. And he commanded the first one, saying, When Esau my brother meets you and asks you, saying, To whom you belong, and where you are going, whose are these in front of you? Then you shall say, They are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my lord Esau, and behold, he is also behind us. So he commanded the second, the third, and all who followed the drove, saying, In this manner you shall speak to Esau when you find him. and also say, Behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me.
So here Jacob's greatest wish was to reconcile with Esau and also to share everything that God has blessed him with.
Verse 21 to 29. So the present went on over before him, but he himself lodged that night in the camp. And he rose that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 female servants and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, sent them over the brook, and sent over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now, when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, What is your name? He said, Jacob. And he said, Your name no longer shall be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked, saying, Tell me your name, I pray. And he said, Why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there.
So all of a sudden this strange man just jumps on him and wrestles with him, and he didn't know who he was. But the Lord changed his name Jacob to Israel. So Jacob realized that this man was sent from God and that God was with him. And this special place he called Peniel. And Peniel means God face to face. So in the last verse of chapter 32, which is verse 32, it says that therefore to this day the children of Israel do not eat the muscle that shrank, which is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip in the muscle that shrank. So thank you so much for joining me today in this study in Genesis chapter 32. And next week, we're going to continue in Genesis chapter 33. And I just want to say, God bless you until the next time.